Sir Piers is a coward. And if I went on with him, like when I went on with him last time, he can't win the argument or the debate.
I think I've been naive all my life. It's not till now I just go, why do we trust them? Of course we shouldn't trust the people in charge. That's how they're in charge. They shouldn't be trusted.
Imagine a nation where the mere act of expressing one's opinion could result in imprisonment, while grave offences go unpunished. According to Tommy Robinson, this is not a dystopian fantasy. It is the stark reality of modern Britain. But before we delve deeper, I have a small request. If you find value in this content, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of viewers watch without subscribing, yet your support costs nothing and makes an enormous difference to us. Have you clicked that button? Excellent, thank you. Now let's get back to the facts. Do not simply take Robinson's word for it. We have conducted an in-depth analysis of the data, and what we uncovered reveals a disturbing pattern of misplaced priorities and selective justice. Are you ready to see the numbers the government would rather keep hidden? In a twist worthy of a political thriller, Tommy Robinson, a polarizing figure known for his clashes with both the legal system and the establishment, has managed to shake the corridors of Westminster from behind prison walls. It is not every day that a phone call from prison dominates the national conversation, but when Robinson's voice crackled through the line, few could have predicted the firestorm of controversy that would follow. Never one to temper his words, Robinson launched a blistering critique of Keir Starmer, the Labour Party leader, carefully crafting his image as a rational and steady hand in British politics. Yet, if Robinson's allegations carry any weight, that meticulously constructed persona may be little more than an illusion. His accusations were not mere personal attacks or trivial disputes. They struck at the core of Starmer's political legacy and decision-making, raising serious questions about his leadership and priorities.
The hotels need to be emptied. That's not a minority view, it's a majority view. These barbarians have been welcomed into our nation by our politicians who are raping, pillaging and murdering
The hundreds of thousands of people who have gathered peacefully with smiles on their faces to send a message to the communist tyrants in power.
Among the most incendiary allegations leveled by Robinson was the claim that Keir Starmer has repeatedly failed to address the pressing concerns of working-class communities, particularly regarding immigration and cultural integration. Robinson painted a damning portrait of a leader increasingly disconnected from the very people he purports to represent, suggesting that behind Starmer's carefully curated political persona lies a figure more invested in preserving the status quo than enacting meaningful reform. However, Robinson's critique extended far beyond domestic policy. His tirade also scrutinized Starmer's track record on foreign affairs, exposing what he characterized as a series of diplomatic missteps, questionable financial decisions, and a troubling pattern of broken promises, one that, according to Robinson, dates back to Starmer's tenure as Director of Public Prosecutions.
When you have the state decide who is a journalist, we're in communism. Yeah? When they start only allowing certain people to make reports, no, that's not what Great Britain is.
Feelings are personal. Some people are offended by equality. So what? You know, so you can't second guess people. If you try and please everyone, you'll please no one.
Each allegation appeared meticulously crafted to erode the foundation of trust that Keir Starmer has been striving to cultivate with the British public. As news of the prison call spread, social media erupted in a firestorm of outrage, skepticism, and demands for further investigation. Hashtags related to the controversy dominated online discourse for days, with Robinson's supporters amplifying his claims while his detractors rushed to Starmer's defense. Political commentators, many of whom had previously dismissed Robinson as a fringe figure, suddenly found themselves compelled to engage with his accusations in earnest. The Labour Party's initial response, a terse no comment, proved unsustainable as the story continued to gain momentum. Eventually, party officials were forced to confront the allegations directly. Starmer himself took to major news outlets in an attempt to methodically dismantle Robinson's assertions, addressing them point by point. Yet for many viewers, the damage had already been done. The seed of doubt had been sown, and regardless of the logical consistency of Starmer's rebuttal, it struggled to match the raw emotional resonance of Robinson's incendiary prison call.
All of these people, these elitists, these 1%, they don't give a shit. None of them care.
I apologise. People are eating their tea. Fucking slagging off the government, Christmas, just life in general.
So, just as the Labour Party began to believe it had weathered the storm, an unexpected figure entered the political arena. Not a seasoned policymaker or a media pundit, but a sharp-witted comedian armed with satire rather than statistics. Ricky Gervais, renowned for his scathing takedowns of Hollywood's elite, turned his attention to Westminster, proving that sometimes it takes a jester to reveal the emperor's lack of clothing. Gervais's foray into political commentary began with a series of acerbic tweets, the most viral of which quipped, "Starmer is about as in touch with the working class as I am with quantum physics." Within minutes, the remark amassed thousands of retweets, signaling that his critique had struck a chord. Yet, his engagement did not stop at pithy one-liners. In a meticulously crafted Instagram post, Gervais dissected Starmer's political record with the precision of a seasoned analyst, framing his critique within what he termed the Great British Political Pantomime. Central to his argument was the sheer absurdity of a system in which a man speaking from behind bars could disrupt the political landscape more effectively than those in power. If Tommy Robinson is your voice of reason, then your problems extend far beyond Starmer, Gervais observed, managing to skewer both sides of the debate in a single stroke. However, it was his unflinching takedown of Starmer's attempts at damage control that truly resonated with audiences, cementing his unexpected role as a formidable voice in the unfolding controversy.
Elon Musk, if you hadn't given me back my platform, then the world wouldn't be able to have seen that I was innocent. The world wouldn't be able to see the importance of citizen journalism.
When are we going to stop taking went to Eton as a qualification to run the country? I mean...
Gervais quipped, "Watching Keir try to explain away Robinson's accusations is like watching a magician pull rabbits out of a hat, except the rabbits are dead, and the hat is on fire." While undeniably humorous, the analogy underscored a deeper issue. Starmer's perceived inability to resonate with the electorate at a critical juncture. With a staggering social media following, over 14 million on Twitter alone, Gervais's remarks reverberated far beyond the sphere of traditional political discourse. His commentary reached audiences who had never before engaged with British politics, sparking widespread debate on both Starmer's leadership and Robinson's allegations. In a feat that eluded countless op-eds and primetime news segments, Gervais had done more than critique. He had transformed politics from a distant abstraction into an inescapable conversation.
Every single chat show, police officers, politicians, they're all telling you, the British public, that I've incited and instigated the violence on the streets of the UK.
We want Keir Starmer to be looking out that window, because you know the intentions of all of his actions of locking everybody up.
The response from the political establishment was a volatile mix of bewilderment and alarm. Some MPs attempted to dismiss Gervais as nothing more than a comedian, but this strategy backfired spectacularly. Seizing the moment, Gervais delivered a razor-sharp rebuttal. "Yes, I'm just a comedian, and you're just politicians who can't even outperform a bloke with a Netflix special." As the dust settled, it became evident that Gervais had done more than simply lampoon a political leader. He had fundamentally reshaped the national conversation. What had initially seemed like a fringe controversy, a polarizing figure making allegations from behind bars, had exploded into a mainstream political firestorm. More significantly, it reignited a broader debate about the role of entertainers in shaping political discourse and public opinion. The combined impact of Robinson's allegations and Gervais's biting commentary exposed something far deeper than the shortcomings of a single politician. It laid bare a profound and growing distrust in Britain's political institutions. This was no longer just about Keir Starmer or the Labour Party. It was a reflection of a wider public disillusionment, a mounting frustration with a system perceived as unresponsive to the concerns of ordinary citizens. Now, Westminster's old guard finds itself under siege, not merely from opposition parties or traditional critics, but from voices emerging in the most unexpected places, from comedians on global platforms to dissidents speaking through prison walls.
Because they have no evidence to say I've instigated the riots or encouraged in any way. There's no evidence. Evidence doesn't matter when they have the mainstream media. They just hammer you continuously with lies.
I've been naive all my life. It's not till now I just go, why do we trust them? Of course we shouldn't trust the people in charge. That's how they're in charge.
As the dust begins to settle on this political upheaval, the British public is left wrestling with a series of unsettling questions. How has the nation reached a point where a comedian and a polarizing figure behind bars appear more attuned to public sentiment than those elected to represent them? The growing demand for transparency and accountability from political leaders is becoming impossible to ignore, echoing across social and traditional media alike. It is as if the carefully maintained facade of competent governance has been stripped away, exposing a stark and unsettling reality, a system that, rather than merely faltering, may be fundamentally broken. In this moment of reckoning, voters are not just scrutinizing individual politicians, but questioning the very structures that underpin British democracy itself.